Hello Soho Parish. I hope you're all keeping safe and well, and I hope you've had a really good week. In Assemblies Day, we are going to be thinking about the school value individuality and how important it is for us to be ourselves. And as I was preparing for this assembly, it got me thinking about the fact that there are millions and millions of people in this world, but there's only one me and there's only one you. There's only one you with your exact fingerprint, or with your exact tone of voice, or with your exact eye colour, or with your specific gifts and talents. There really is only one you. And I know sometimes we're told that we might look like members of our families. I'm often told I look just like my sister, or my sister looks exactly like me. But in fact, there really is only one me, and we are all unique and special. And sometimes we don't always think that way or feel that way. And in our story today, we're going to think about a boy called David. He was probably feeling that way. He was the youngest of 8 brothers, and I can imagine that he wasn't feeling very special because he was often left to tend to the sheep in the field. But as we find out in this story, something unique and special happens to him to remind him of that. And I'm going to read to you from my Bible. I remember I shared with you last time. This is one that I got when I was in year 6, and the story is called The Young David Choosing a New King. Samuel was sad that Saul had turned out to be a self-willed and disobedient king. One day, God said, "You must stop being disappointed about Saul and anoint the man I have chosen to be king instead. I want you to go to Bethlehem where Jesse lives. I have chosen one of his sons to reign after Saul." "I dare not," Samuel said. "If Saul hears about this, he's going to be really angry." "Saul doesn't need to know," God reassured him. "I want you to give a feast in Bethlehem and invite all of Jesse's family to come." There was great excitement in Bethlehem when Samuel arrived to arrange the feast. Everyone was invited, including Jesse and all his family. When Jesse came forward, he proudly introduced his sons. Samuel looked keenly at Eli, the eldest. He was handsome and tall, very like Saul when he was young. He must be God's choice, Samuel thought, but God's voice inside him said, "No, Samuel, this is not the man I have chosen. You are looking at the outside, but I look at a person's thoughts and feelings. What a person looks like inside is what matters most." One by one, in order of age, Jesse presented his sons to Samuel, 7 handsome, strong young men. As each came forward, Samuel's heart gave a leap, but each time God said no. Samuel was puzzled. There must be some mistake. "Are these all the sons you have asked, Jesse?" "There's just the youngest," Jesse admitted, "but he's in the field with the sheep." "We won't begin the feast until he is here too," Samuel insisted. So someone went quickly to fetch David. He arrived breathless, still wearing his rough working clothes. He looked strong and handsome too. His eyes were bright and his face was tanned and healthy from a life in the open air. "This is the man I have chosen," God's voice came to Samuel. "I want you to anoint him as king." Samuel took out a little flask of olive oil and sprinkled a few drops on David's head, whispering God's message. But from that day on, God was with David in a special way. Imagine what his brothers must have felt like when he was chosen to be the king. I can imagine that they might have been a little bit jealous, especially because they didn't think he had anything to offer. Even his dad didn't think he was that special. But we realise that, and from this story in the Bible, just sometimes how unique and special we are, and sometimes that's hidden, and often it can be quite difficult for us to find out how special we are. But we are, and it's really important for us to be ourselves, to celebrate our individuality. Because once we are all individuals, and we all bring lots of different, unique and special talents together. And when we bring them all together, wonderful things happen. So this week, I want you to really dig deep, think about what is it that makes me special. David soon realised that actually it was in fact really good to be him. And he went on to be the king. And he also went on to be that person, that young boy that defeated Goliath, because we all know that story really well. And he wrote something in a psalm which said that He was knit together in his mother's womb. So he was really reflecting on the fact that he was made in a unique way. And he said, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And he was really celebrating on the fact that how good it was for him to be an individual and to be himself. And so this week, I want you to really reflect on what you bring and how special you are. And I know we're not all here together, and so we can't spend time sharing with one another just how important our gifts and talents are. But why don't you take a moment this week to just reflect on how special you are. You might want to do it with people in your family and write down things that make them unique and special and celebrate your differences. But I want you to remember that as we bring them all together, we can do great things together because we've all got lots of different gifts and talents that are so important for our Soho Parish community, but also to the world. So I hope you have a great day. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Bye.